let's head back to the stage now.
To deliver their speech will be Hannah.
Well, we all know how the issues with education at Kent because we have lived it. I am here to convince you that I'm the right person to be your next VP of Education at Kent. How? Well, my manifesto points are realistic and achievable. I believe that the most important role of a sabbatical officer is to represent and listen to the students. Not only will I be available through regular contact time and communication, but I'm also beyond passionate about Kent. And we use the passion and determination. And I will use this passion and determination to change what you want to be changed, argue for you what you want to be argued for, and to give you the support that you need the most. Everyone is ultimately at a university to get a degree, and if you can get a degree without falling into financial disarray or actually getting ill, then that's a commendable achievement. But as I'm sure all of you know by now, university is about so much more than a piece of paper with 2-1 written on it. It's about meeting the people who change your life, learning so much more than degrees can teach you, and about living life to its fullest. I believe that I can help you gain the university experience you need. How? Through easing the burdens. I will create a study group system for when modules feel impossible or for when the exam time's nearing. I will increase lecture recordings so that you don't miss out too much when you miss a lecture. And I will increase exam and coursework feedback so that you know how to improve yourself for the better. Please read my manifesto, and if you have any questions, contact me. And remember, Hannah Cox rocks your education.
We have Alex.
Hi there, my name's Alex Murray. I'm running for a second term as your Vice President Education. Basically, I'm standing on a platform of the experiences I've built up over the last 3 years, the proven record I feel I have from the work that I've been working on this year, working on things like getting you longer library hours, things like getting more study space, whether that's in the Senate building where we have a computer room currently being installed, or the computer spaces that we're going to have installed in Parkwood later on this year. I think beyond that, I've got a vision which kind of stands up for the changing sector of higher education at the moment, looking at things like postgraduate funding, looking at postgraduate study space, and also looking at things beyond that, such as the issues affecting international students with the UK border agency. I think we have to not just look locally, but nationally in what is quite a changing sector with damaging changes being wrought upon it. So there's a lot more that I want to say. There's a lot more different things that I've done over the years, such as working on teaching awards and almost doubling the nominations that we've had there, and around the hidden course costs and really getting rid of those. So I hope that you look online. There's a lot more information. I've been putting out an extended manifesto every day in the lead up to this for the last 4, so there's only one more to go. I hope that you read up on all of that, and I hope that you vote Murray for a second term as Vice President of Education. Thanks very much.
Okay, and we'll now move on to questions. You have a minute to give your answer, and Francis will give you a warning when you have 10 seconds left. Okay, the first question is, what priority will you give course reps, and how will you support the reps further? And that will go to Alex first.
Okay, hello. Okay, so this year we've introduced course rep drop-ins. We've introduced school rep drop-ins as well. Course rep drop-ins on both campuses, that is. And I think that this, as well as trying to use the education forum better, not to be about reports from officers, but about discussions around the issues that are currently facing students. I think that different things like this, as well as the newsletters, have ensured that we've been able to empower reps a little bit better. One of the main things that I've been talking about when it comes to course reps, and you can see this in the extended manifesto that I've written on course reps, is around the need to really improve the induction process, not just from us, but also within schools. And I think that when it comes to bringing the faculty reps in early, bringing in the different members of the university who they'll be working with, I think that's a really important point for just getting them started off in the right direction when it comes to the beginning of the year.
Okay, and Hannah?
Can you just return?
Yes. What priority will you give course reps, and how will you support the reps further?
Yeah, well, I think course reps are really, really important, not least because I'm a course rep at the moment. But they do really, really have a power to make a difference in modules. I know that some courses and some schools have got a really, really strong course rep structure, and it really, really makes a difference. I believe it's physics, which is they're actually having they're making their own science faculty fair or physics faculty fair, which is so amazing. But I think that course reps have got a lot to like. They've got a lot to learn. They can learn from each other. They can learn from having really, really strong support systems. I think it's really valuable that we've now got a member of staff who is dedicated to coordinating course reps. I think the conference is also really, really valuable. But I think the course rep can be the conference can be improved. I think it could be a regular thing so that course reps can really learn from each other, learn by best practice. And I think that would be a really strong priority.
Okay, and on to our second question, which is, what would you do to improve study support for students? And we'll start with Hannah.
Well, going on from the course rep thing, I think that's actually part of it. I think that it goes deeper than that. I want to have kind of a threefold plan. So depending on the course reps, as I just said, I think they're really, really important. But also I want to have study groups so that people can study together, you know. Learning together is beneficial. I mean, we know this. We can learn as much from our peers as we can from our teachers. And I think it would be a really good structure. I know that some schools have it on their own, and they've taken it upon themselves to make study groups on their own, and they say they've worked well. But when I've been talking to people, some even say that it's the mark of Kent Union on study groups would be beneficial. Also, I think it could be nice to work with the peer mentor system. Even though this is a university-based system, I think it could work. If there are three positions who are all kind of performing that role where they are supporting is that it? Sorry, I got confused.
It's a 10-second warning, but your time is obviously elapsed now, but next time it's a 10-second warning. Okay. And on to our final question. Oh, no, sorry, Alex. Yeah. Do you want to answer the question?
So around support for students, obviously been working closely with the PASS network, looking at the academic advisor system that's been put in and trying to ensure that's as best for students as possible. I think there's a lot of work to be done around that. I think when it comes to financial support, there's a lot of work around that. And I've been working closely with the university in the last few weeks around the offer agreement, basically looking at access to university. And I think that's really important, getting bursaries over fee waivers for students so they have the right kind of support when they get here. Further to that, I mean, around study space, around more flexible hours and more flexible kind of teaching spaces, I think these are really key things. I mean, they might seem as like the kind of the standard, but I think it's something that students always are kind of demanding for, and I think it's some of the things that I've delivered around. So I hope that's all helping you. All right.
Okay, and the final question for our education candidates is £9,000 too much? Should the public pay towards education? What do you think education funding should look like, and how would you work to achieve this? And we'll start with Alex.
So a nice simple one to finish us off with. Well, I mean, I've campaigned against cuts for the last few years. I was around in the Senate building 3 years back campaigning for basically how important public education is, how much it brings to the country, how much it brings to local communities. And I think it's a really key thing to really drive this through. We led 100 students on a march in London this year, and I think it's important that people don't just forget about the changes that have happened and the fact that it's very likely that these are going to increase again in years to come. I think it's also important that when we're talking about cuts, that we make sure that we don't forget about student support and the fact that maintenance loans are not rising to meet rising living costs as well. Finally, I talk about postgraduate funding as well, because there is not a system there, and it's something that is too often overlooked, and we're working nationally on this with NUS, and I think that's something that has to be examined when it comes to talking about finance and funding in higher education.
Okay, and Hannah.
Yeah, I do think the £9,000 is too much, just simply because it seems like education is becoming more and more inaccessible. I paid the £3,125, which seems like so much of a nicer number now. My mum got her education for free, and the quality and the value of this education has not changed over the last 40 years. But in terms of funding, I know that the university has got the 3A scheme, so people who get 3As, they've got 60 the £6 million of funding, which is there available to them, so that they can get which gives them £2,000 a year, I think, which can be used for like their studies, which is really, really valuable as a source. And also, the university actually has loads of really valuable money helping schemes. So, like if your loan doesn't come through in time, then you can like, take a loan out from the university. And I think more attention and more information needs to get out there about this money available, because it's really important, and it's something that can actually.
Okay, thank you very much. A round of applause for our education candidates.